In the world of Minecraft speedrunning, milliseconds can separate the greatest players in history. But in a community based on trust, RNG, and evidence, there's always room for manipulation. So what happens when someone decides to chase glory without playing fair? This is how you professionally fake a Minecraft speedrun. No one fakes a run on day one. It starts with patience, familiarity, and the community. So step 1 is simple. You must become part of the scene. You upload casual runs, tutorials, maybe even a seed showcase or two. You join the speedrunning Discord servers and interact with the people. All of this builds the illusion of credibility. The more normal your presence is, the more jarring it'll be when you suddenly appear with a potential world record, and the less likely people are to question it. Trust is your most valuable resource, and you're about to spend it all. At the core of every Minecraft speedrun is a delicate relationship between randomness and reality. The two most crucial points: blaze rods and ender pearls. Blaze rods have a 50% drop rate. Kill a blaze, there's a coin flip chance it drops a rod. Ender pearls, on the other hand, are trickier. When bartering with piglins, the chance of getting pearls is about 2.18% per gold ingot. That's roughly 1 in 46. In a normal run, you might have to kill 10 to 14 blazes to get enough rods, but you could use over a stack of gold and still fall short on pearls. But sometimes, people get lucky, or at least, they say they do. Here's where it gets interesting. Probability tells us what we expect to happen in the long run, but not what will definitely happen in the short run. So take flipping a coin. Theoretically, a fair coin has a 50% chance of landing on heads and 50% on tails. So if you flip it twice, you expect one head and one tail. But that's not a guarantee. Each flip is independent, so you might get 2 heads, 2 tails, or 1 of each. That's the nature of randomness. It has variation. The same logic applies to Minecraft drops. Just because the chance of getting a pearl is 2.18% doesn't mean you'll always fail 45 times before success. You could get 2 pearls in 5 barters, or none in 70. This randomness follows a binomial distribution. It models the probability of getting k successes in n independent trials, where each trial has the same success probability. So if you trade with 50 piglins, each trade has a 2.18% chance of giving you pearls. You could calculate the probability of getting exactly 3 pearl trades, or 5, or even 0. And while low success outcomes are more likely, the odds of high outliers, like 6 or more pearl drops in 10 trades, become exponentially smaller. This which leads to a key point. Just because something is possible doesn't mean it's plausible, because over time patterns begin to emerge. The more trials you run, the more your results should converge towards the expected average. This is the law of large numbers. This is where data becomes your worst enemy. What you see here is a graph comparing bartering outcomes from different runners. Red, blue, and yellow, all legitimate speedrunners. Their results are bumpy, varied, and imperfect, as expected. And then there's green. His pearl rates climb higher, faster, and smoother than anyone else's. So why is this so important? Because the community evaluates runs using 2 tools, maths and intuition. The binomial model and the law of large numbers gives us a benchmark, being a statistical envelope of what's plausible. Human intuition reads the footage for authenticity, and both matter. Viewers don't just see the numbers, they likely follow a story. So if the footage feels genuine, people are less likely to dig. Small, purposeful imperfections, the things that indicate a human behind the controller, are often more convincing than flawless luck. At the start of the video, we covered how important the preparation phase was, gaining trust, building a background, and laying down the bricks for a future breakthrough. This would be critical in the endgame, where thousands of critics would analyze every bit of your digital profile, looking at every run to come up with a verdict. Extreme runs can happen, statistically, but as mentioned earlier, consistency across many events rarely does. So analysts look for patterns, repeated deviation from expected rates, and if a performance sits inside the noisy band of probability, it's treated like a fluke, and if it sits well outside, it becomes evidence. Of course, we've not gone over processes that may be used during editing to gain milliseconds of an advantage. The risk is far too high for a reward, although modifying in-game drops is also arguably similar in terms of risk versus reward. It is also important to realize that the intent is not to claim the world record. A world record invites tools, hours of dissection, astrophysicists, and a coordinated scrutiny. A near record would only invoke hype and minimal skepticism, but typically not a full forensic teardown of the run. So that's why in our dramatized timeline, the aim shifts from absolute dominance to plausible excellence. So in simple terms, you want applause and attention, but not so much where the runner attracts a community teardown for blatant data modification. So what's the moral of the story? You could spend hours perfecting data packs, tweaking drop rates, practicing every move until the run looks flawless. But here's the hard truth. Even the best fake will always have its fingerprints. The numbers don't lie, and the community doesn't forget. Once the trust is gone, it's gone for good. And what's the point? Because you lose all credibility, trust, and all the little victories that actually make speedrunning meaningful. So if you're thinking of faking a Minecraft speedrun, just know that in the end, you might only fool yourself.